Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. Today we are diving straight into a massive, fundamental divide in modern personal finance, the wealth gap, and more specifically, the battle between investing and saving. We're going to look at exactly why the wealthy handle their money completely differently than you might expect, and how understanding this one exact difference can totally reshape your financial future.
So, why do rich people never save money like you do? I know, it's a pretty provocative question right out of the gate, but answering it is the absolute key to understanding the real secret to building wealth. Most of us are taught from day one to put our pennies in a piggy bank, to stash our cash away, and to just feel secure in the simple act of accumulating it. But if you actually observe the top tier of wealth builders, they absolutely are not just hoarding cash in a traditional bank account. No way. They're executing a strategy that is, well, entirely different.
Because here's the thing, we've all been sold this idea that hoarding cash is the ultimate goal, that simply stacking away a chunk of your paycheck month after month will magically lead you to financial freedom. But as the source material reveals, that is actually a massive financial myth. It's literally a myth holding everyday earners back from reaching their true financial potential. Storing your money away safely is absolutely not the same thing as actually building wealth.
All right, let's unpack part one, the save-in myth, and really rethink what we know about money.
To truly dismantle this myth, we've got to define our terms clearly, right? So, saving. Saving is fundamentally about preservation and safekeeping. It's the act of putting money aside just to make sure it doesn't disappear. It keeps your cash totally static, safe, and super accessible for emergencies or short-term purchases. And hey, it feels good because it feels incredibly secure. But actually, that very static nature, that is exactly why it is not a wealth-building tool. It just sits there. And this brings us to a crucial distinction highlighted in our source material, the quote-unquote surprising difference between saving and investing. Guys, this isn't just some subtle shift in terminology. It is a monumental, game-changing difference in financial strategy. If you only ever save, you are basically only ever playing defense. To understand how the wealth gap really forms, we have to look at the offensive strategy. Which leads us perfectly into part two, saving versus investing, and diving into that surprising difference. Investing is defined completely differently. It's active. It is the process of literally putting your money to work to generate a return and build wealth over time. Think of investing as an energetic, forward-looking process of giving your money a job to do. Instead of letting your hard-earned cash sit idly in a dark vault somewhere, you are sending it out into the economy, into businesses, into real assets to generate actual, tangible growth. When we put these two concepts side by side, honestly, the contrast is just impossible to ignore. Saving sits completely still. It prioritizes safety and is entirely about preservation. But investing is active. It focuses relentlessly on growing and acts as the true engine of wealth building. By choosing the latter, you're making a conscious choice to make your money work for you, instead of you just endlessly working for your money. Now, let's jump to part three, decoding the wealth gap, and see exactly where this divide begins. When you map this out over time, wow, the reality really hits home. Static savings just crawls along on this low, totally flat trajectory. Over the years, it barely inches forward. But active investing, it shoots upward, fueled by the magic of compounding growth. That flat trajectory of saving simply cannot keep up with exponential compounding power. I mean, this dynamic right here, it is the very anatomy of the wealth gap. So the absolutely crucial takeaway here is that this massive wealth gap we see in society, it isn't just a matter of luck or inheritance or some kind of financial magic. It is a direct consequence of a specific financial choice, choosing to actively invest rather than just passively save. The wealthy don't save money like you do because they fundamentally understand that preservation is not growth. They literally cross that gap by shifting their funds out of static accounts and into active compounding vehicles. And that brings us to part four, your financial call to action and shifting your financial paradigm. All right, to bridge your own personal wealth gap, you've got to follow this progression. Step one, recognize the saving myth. You have to acknowledge that just hoarding cash will not make you wealthy. Step two, truly understand the surprising difference and see exactly why static preservation consistently loses out to active growth. And finally, step three, you must shift your mindset. You've got to take that leap and start actually putting your money to work for you. So we're going to leave you with this final thought to ponder today. Are you going to continue buying into the myth of simply saving, keeping your financial potential permanently locked away? Or are you finally ready to step across the gap, change your paradigm, and really put your money to work through investing? The choice is entirely yours. But remember, only one path actually leads to true wealth.